And so we are here at the Embassy of Ukraine in Nairobi, Kenya. The purpose of this particular sit-down is Ukraine's big day, which is celebrated on October 1st every year. The day is Defenders Day, the day where they honor fallen soldiers, they honor all the things that come with being in a war, with being in the front line, in the battlefield for the soldiers in Ukraine. And as you already know, Ukraine has been in a war with Russia for a couple of years now. We are definitely going to be talking about that. But I will be talking to the ambassador himself of Ukraine to Kenya, Ambassador, His Excellency rather, Yurii Tokar, who is right here with me at his residence in Nairobi. We'll be talking about Defenders Day, talking about the soldiers, talking about the war, talking about UNGA that happened recently in New York, in the US, and a lot more about the connection between Ukraine, Kenya, and what this means to the world at large. Welcome very much to the program.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
His Excellency Ambassador, how are you doing?
Well, I'm doing pretty fine. Yesterday was 1 month of my staying in Nairobi.
Okay.
So quite interesting country, quite interesting city, and very like the dynamic of the city and of the country.
Where were you before Kenya?
I've been to Poland, to Washington, to Poland, again to Poland, and before that I've been to the United Kingdom.
Kenya is a beautiful country. People say that. Do they say that because it's a nice thing to say? What do you like about this country? So far, so good. It's been 1 month. Do you love the food? Do you love the weather?
Yes, I love the climate, which is awesome and very, very so medium. And I also love the aura here. So it's very dynamic from one point of view. When you come from Europe, it seems to be a little chaotic, but anyway, it's nice, it's very, very dynamic, and that's what I like very much about that.
That is nice, that is nice. I'd love to see your spirit, despite the fact that your country has been in a war for 3 years now, right?
4.
4 years now.
Almost 4 years.
Almost 4 years now. How has that impacted, before we talk about Defenders Day, how has that impacted you as a people, your spirit, you know, the nation as well, and your soldiers as well? How would you assess that so far so good?
Well, we should split this war. Well, there was a nice wording about the war that on 3rd anniversary of Ukrainian heroic stand against this war. It was collided of words. So it's the 3rd year of 11th year war, which lasts for centuries. So let's be honest, the war started in 2014 when Russia, with their imperialistic ambitions, well, invaded Crimea and burned the fire in Donbass. So that's when Ukrainians started to understand the importance of the army, importance of our defenders. That is why actually in 2014 Ukrainian president introduced that day, and so the day is connected not only with this war, but it also has a deeper historical roots. Historical roots go to Cossacks. Cossacks, when they had Holy Mother, that day of Holy Mother, who was believed to be protecting our Ukrainian Cossacks in 16th, 17th century. And in 20th century, our Ukrainian army, who fought against Nazis and Soviet regime, so it was also established Ukrainian army called UPA, and so they were also, the official date of establishment is also connected with this day. Therefore, this day was taken from this, well, heroic history of Ukraine, and this Defenders Day was established. Let's be honest, so before 2014, nobody believed there might be some war in Europe. So we were developing, we were, you know, producing, setting up new businesses, new dimensions, and so the Russians came to us with the war. And so it was hybrid war. In 2014 there was a hybrid war, but in 2022 it was a full-scale invasion of Russian Federation to Ukraine.
How has the courage and sacrifice of Ukraine's defenders influenced the national spirit of Ukraine and among the Ukrainian people, not just in Ukraine, but across the diaspora?
I can tell you, even from my perspective, when I was a consul general in Wrocław, we set up that consulate in 2022, and as soon as Russia made this invasion, full-scale invasion, I had a huge queue of people in front of my consulate who were telling, help us to return back to Ukraine. We are ready to fight. We are ready to resist, to fight with this enemy, and we are ready to help our country. So this is, well, these were the people who were experienced in military things, but also there were some people who just were ready to join Ukrainian army, to join Ukrainian forces to resist this invasion. Then it came with the unity of Ukrainians. Ukrainians united in different volunteer organizations, in different volunteer initiatives. So they were helping our soldiers at the front, and I was also doing my best to help them. So we were united, we were joined, so we understood the importance of resistance, the importance of independence of our country, and we also understood what empire brings to Ukraine.
Okay, so maybe from where you sit, what is the embassy's role, this particular embassy, and Ukraine's approach more broadly in ensuring that the memory and the legacy of the fallen soldiers are honored, particularly in the context of Defenders Day? What are you doing about it, not just in Kenya but across the world, to honor the memories?
First of all, we should remember one important thing. At 9 o'clock in the morning, every morning in Ukraine, everything stops. Everything stops. It's called a minute of silence, with aim to remember those who died in this war. Secondly, so of course we have a lot of different events organized on cemeteries, different events organized with aim to commemorate our fallen soldiers, and that's very important. And for example, you could see, so when fallen soldiers comes to some village or some smaller city, on the sides of the street, every people knee. So they follow their knees to give the final respect to the fallen soldier. And every soldier who has fallen, who has died at front, so on his grave we put a Ukrainian flag. So this is very, very, very patriotically and very inspiring for that those people died, and we have no right to give up, for their memory at least.
Very good. And so from your unique position as ambassador to Kenya and representative in the African region as well, how are you communicating the daily realities of the struggles that Ukrainians go through in Ukraine? How are you, being in Kenya, how are you making Kenyans aware of the situation on the ground?
Well, of course, we are very grateful that Kenyan mass media really shows this information, really shows these tragedies, the tragedies that Russia cannot, that actually show that Russia cannot break the front line, that cannot go through, because Ukrainian soldiers, Ukrainian defenders stand strong, and they cannot break it. So they are trying to kill us, to disappoint us with terrorist attacks to the backyard. So they are throwing special missiles, Kinjal and so on. They are throwing those Shahed drones kamikaze. And the worst thing about that is that they are throwing it not to the military bases or military objects. They are throwing it to the civilian objects, to the usual houses. You could see day before yesterday. You could do the usual hospitals where children are going through the rehabilitation.
Residential places.
To schools, where smaller kids are visiting those places. So everywhere, so just to destroy the moral habits, the moral strength of Ukrainian people, of Ukrainian nation against that. But again, so they do not succeed in that. We destroy almost more than 80% of all those attacks, and regretfully we cannot resist with all of our powers to all of them, because it's really hundreds and thousands of those, well, really sophisticated weapon is flying to Ukraine, but we strongly resist, and this is make us more proud of our armed forces. They are still strong, they are still defeating us, defending us, defeating those attacks, and really making us proud of that.
Okay, so beyond material support, which I'm sure you give, what is being done to provide psychological and moral support to the veterans, their families, and the wounded who have served in the Ukrainian army?
Well, first of all, we are really grateful to international community. So from the beginning of this full-scale invasion, we had a strong partnership from our European partner, as well as all over the world, partners all over the world, so for taking for rehabilitation of our soldiers. But we also should understand that those soldiers receive not only the physical wounds, they also receive psychological wounds, which are sometimes worse than physical. Of course, I've seen those people, you know, in Poland, and it was really painful to see those wounded people, young people with all the prospect before them, all the world before them, but they had a really serious wounds, really serious damages to their body, and it was really painful to look at that, but anyway we had this support. From other point of view, Ukraine understands that, and we also have a very strong medical infrastructure in Ukraine, though it is destroyed by Russians from time to time, but it works and it rebuilds, and it tell you, I don't know the statistics, but a lot of people, after going through the procedure of rehabilitation, return back to the war, return back to defend their country. Also, we're working on psychological issues, so different projects are implemented. Our psychiatrists are now really having now really very high level of working with such people, with their bringing back to life, to real life, to the life out of the front, because that's two different worlds. It's two different dimensions, and when they're coming back to the real life, sometimes it's hard to adapt. And we have projects, actually about 50,000 of families have already went through this project, and well, it works.
It's working. Let's talk about the Kenyan connection. So how does Ukraine view the official stance and actions taken by the Kenyan government and the Kenyan people regarding the defense of Ukraine's sovereignty and territorial integrity? How does Kenya come in, and how do you appreciate that?
Well, first of all, we really highly appreciate Kenyan positions that no land can be taken by force. Kenyans understand us as I guess no one other does, because Kenya went through this imperialistic resistance, and they see that now Russia is doing to Ukraine the same, realizing their imperialistic ambitions, their colonial ambitions. It's very well, you should probably see what are they doing to people there, and that is really bad, and it really shouldn't be described on television, but it's really cannot be understood that human can do something like that to human. So we understand what we are standing. But Kenyans and the official position is really positive and really important for us, because Kenyan is, let's be honest, it is one of the leading countries in Western Africa and Eastern Africa.
Eastern Africa.
Yes, apologies. In Eastern Africa. And so I have a lot of actually questions from other ambassadors from these countries, from other embassies. What Kenya said about that? What Kenya did about that? And then when I said that, explained what's done, it is taken as example for those other countries what Kenya did, and so let's do it together. So really we appreciate the importance, the attention, and the position that no land can be taken by force.
Talking of Kenya, as we go to the others, beyond the conflict, what are the current and future key areas of cooperation do they exist between Kenya and Ukraine that you're prioritizing, particularly in sectors like trade, education, and technology? How are we coming together, both countries?
Well, it should be mentioned that despite that almost 1,000 kilometers of the front line we have it now with Russia, Ukrainian economy is still working.
Okay.
It's still developing, it's still producing. Of course, we started a new technologies, new ideas, new principles from the point of view of military point of view. But as we know, some military cases are very good for civil cases. So we have these drones, we have new technologies, we develop it, and so this could be probably the one of the dimensions, one of the direction of our cooperation. But let's let for the moment of this the war to end. Secondly, we still produce a grain. We still are strong, very strong in agriculture, despite that the lands are mined by Russians. So our agriculture, our workers still find the way to, to have new production, to have new grain, to have new products of agriculture, which actually are produced. And from the beginning of war, Ukraine has exported about 300,000 tons of grain to African continent.
Including Kenya?
Yes, including Kenya. So Russians try to break the waste to export it. Russians try to, to break the land so it will be impossible to grow anything. But we still stand strong, our economy still grows. And also we are interested, but we should be more like forward-looking, forward-thinking, that the cooperation might be also in educational field. So we have a strong school of medicine, we have strong school of IT and technological school, and our university are interested in cooperation with Kenya, with African continent about that, and we are looking forward, but we understand the danger in Ukraine, because no place is safe, and regretfully it is not. So though I heard that some students are still studying in Ukraine, some students from Kenya, but it should be adjusted, should get used to that. And when you know the rules, so you'll see that, of course, there are civil killings of civil people in Ukraine, but we adapted. So more or less we adjusted and we're living on.
So let me ask about misinformation, because there is a lot of, especially during a war, like in Gaza, like in your case as well, there's a lot of misinformation on the internet where people get to twist narratives and twist the plots. So what are you particularly doing to ensure, to Kenya, what is the strategy in Kenya to ensure a clear and accurate understanding of Ukraine's defense of its own people in this country and even across the world?
Let's be honest, this war is not about the front line. As I mentioned, it is also a terrorist attack into the country. But there is also an economic war, there is a political war, and there is informational war. You mentioned it very nicely, so misinformation, disinformation. It is really hard to fight with the lie, because you have only one truth, and the lie, there is a lot of lies. And so you don't have to much to produce lies, but the truth is only one. So we are bringing our truth as much as possible to the Kenyan society. We understand that it is really hard. It is the misinformation is very sophisticated, very nice. Let's estimate it this way. But anyway, we fight with that, and we confident that this war is not equal, because the money and the instruments Russia has are not equal to us. But we have the truth, and truth is on our side.
Okay, that's a good answer. So as we wind up, you are a diplomat here. So what is the most critical? Let's talk about the road to peace, now that we are here already talking about Defenders Day as well. What is the most critical element in your view for achieving a just and lasting peace that respects Ukraine's sovereignty, and what role do African nations play in promoting that goal?
Yes, of course, we are looking for a just and strong peace and fair peace. So Ukraine is interested in that, and we promote that idea. We have full support well, from European countries, and we're trying to build that support in African countries. African countries are really important, and really their position matters because, well, it is international platforms where we can cooperate, where you can help us, and where we can stop this aggression, stop this colonial war against Ukraine. So Africans do understand that, and we are really appreciative that we are together on that. But also we love to develop economic ties, to develop scientific ties with Africa. So we are working on that, and that will be the priority for us.
As we finish now, I want to know your message, your final message on this significant day, Defenders Day. What final message would you like to convey to the people of Ukraine, the citizens of Kenya, and the international community regarding the importance of defending freedom and democratic values? What the message would you love to send to the people of Ukraine and Kenya as well?
The message is very strong. Ukraine, for the 4th year, stands this war. Ukraine stands. So enemy did not move really far from the beginning of this war. So our defenders really stand, and Ukraine still is fighting. So Ukraine has not given up. So we are strong, and the more we are united, the more we are joined in our efforts in resisting colonialism, in resisting imperialism, the more success we will have. Let's work together. And secondly, what my message is actually to Kenyan citizens. I was really disappointed and, had my tears to see that African citizens joined Russian army. So don't be fooled with Russian lies. They promise us, roses, but you'll end up, this is the war. This is the front line. So they have lost most of their army. And they are now looking for everywhere for soldiers. But they do not respect soldiers. They do not respect human being. And due to the fact that it is against Ukraine, so we destroy them, we kill them. And so lots of them are becoming, invalids, disabled people, and this can die there. So don't trust Russian lies.
Okay. That is the basic message that you carried for the day. And so that was the ambassador himself right here at his residence in Nairobi, Yurii Tokar. You just heard from him. His Excellency, that is the message that he has for you on Defenders Day. You had deep things, you had very poignant words that he spoke, and you better listen and reflect on that. This was Citizen Digital. Once again, my name is Kabuga.